Wealthy women of Reddit, what about being rich did you not expect? Just wanted to get the female perspective from this. https://www.reddit.com/r/askmen/comment/9r7aqp/wealthy_id_rich_ post on r/askmen. I'm not stupidly rich, but until very recently had a partner who is doing very well, so we didn't have to worry about money. What I noticed was how cheaper life gets when you have money. For example, own a house. You get better credit, or things like air miles. With my credit card, if I spend PS10k in a year I get a companion ticket, which means a free airfare when I buy one ticket. The kicker is you have to spend points to get it, but the same card gives me points for that PS10k I spent. So basically it's 2 free airfares. And when I'm traveling I can go in the lounges which are full of free food and drink, so I don't have to spend money in the airport. It's the simple things, like I can afford to live or stay in urban centers, which mean less money spent on travel. Or I have cash machines near me which don't charge me to take out my own money. Then there are clever things you can do with your money to take advantage of trusts, interest rates, etc. Which mean when you have money you can make more money through doing very little. It made me realize the many barriers there are for people on lower incomes which keep them there. People with money don't see these cause they never encounter them. Not me, but my parents. My aunt once told me that she tries to keep people from seeing her home for as long as she can, even if they're doing service work for her. She learned the hard way that if she had people come over to give an estimate, the estimate went up wildly as soon as people saw her home or realized she has an MD after her name. So now she goes to where they are, talks to them about what she needs done, and gives all the relevant facts, and gets an estimate before they see her house. She says it dropped the estimate significantly to do it that way. Also, ripple effect, but I never realized how expensive daily living was, groceries, gas, etc. until I was living on my own. My parents needed something, they bought it. They wanted to do a 2-week trip to Europe, planned it and went. Ate wherever they wanted, did fun tours, etc. without caring about cost. The disconnect shows up between us. I make $60k a year without health insurance coverage or anything, so that comes right out of my pocket. My aunt was adamant that I could save up and afford to take her and us to Italy for 2 weeks. Bullshit, madam. I'm barely saving up enough for a house after rent, bills, groceries, insurance, etc. have their way with my paycheck. Edit to add, my problem is not that I can't afford to go to Italy, I can. But my parents are expecting me to be able to rent a house for 2 weeks, pay for dinner, lunch, and breakfast there for 2 weeks for 5 people, and all our transportation. And they do not want just any house for 2 weeks. They expect I'll be able to afford one that is about $5,000 for 2 weeks. My mother is very wealthy. When I was a kid, we were well off, but not rich as such. Since selling our family home, which was debt-free and retiring, my mother is now rich. Rich in the I'll buy this small house without having to take out a loan rich. But you wouldn't know it to look at her. Yes, she owns 2 houses and her car outright with no mortgages, but she doesn't go on expensive trips, etc. For my mother, 62 years old, money equals peace of mind. When I lived in a different country and would visit her during wintertime, she didn't want to drive in snowy weather, so she paid a taxi to pick me up at the airport, even thought it's a 200-kilometer round trip, and saved herself the stress and worry. My soul needed dental surgery and had to wait 6 months before she could afford it, so my mum decided to pay the bill for her. There's lots more examples where she helps me or my brothers. She's very generous, but more so with practical necessities than with luxury items. She'll pay insurance, unexpected expenses like getting a washing machine fixed, etc. but not designer goods or new cell phones every year. When she spends money on herself, it's always to somehow avoid worry or hassle. The vast majority of her wealth is just in the bank and not invested. People think she is stupid for not making her money work for her, but she doesn't want to have to worry about poor investments, etc. Her life is so harmonious and undramatic. Most problems she can throw money at, and she can pay people to do the stuff that she finds tedious, like cleaning, trimming hedges and ironing. I realized when I had no idea when payday was that I was doing a hell of a lot better than I thought. As a student back in the day, I worked full time and studied full time and had debts through my nose. My husband and I went through a financial situation when we moved interstate over 11 years ago, where we sold our house, paid off all our debts, and started again. We were still mid-20s, so this was easy to bounce back from. Now we only have mortgage debt. Everything we own is purchased with cash. We have a CC, but only for flying points. We clear it every month. We do purchase better quality food, clothing, other items. As someone said above, it lasts longer. I won't buy an exorbitant designer bag, but I will take the time to get proper leather, locally produced where possible to support local business, etc. I like quality. I only check our bank account to monitor rental income as we manage our own rentals, but other than that, we leave our money in savings and play with investments every so often. For background, I grew up comfortably middle class, and my so grew up upper middle class / wealthy. Each of us was doing pretty well when we first got together, but over the last 2 years I've had a 50% salary increase and he's become a partner in his business, so for me life has really changed compared to before we met. The main differences are that I really earn a lot more than my friends now, and my idea of what is normal to spend has changed. So now I overthink anything I plan with my friends, because I don't want to put them under pressure to spend money they don't have. Otherwise everything is just a bit nicer than before. I could buy pretty much anything I want without having to plan for it or think about it too much. My expectations of restaurants, hotels, etc. have changed. I'm in that group where I'm not obscenely wealthy, I'm just able to go about life not worrying about how much things cost. I wasn't expecting the way I spend money to be offensive to others. Sometimes people take a personal issue with what I choose to spend money on, as if it's an attack on them, like buying expensive things means I'm judging them by default. How easy life is when you have money. So, example, I was on a trip a few days ago and my car broke down. Because of the situation I had to have it towed to the repair place and rent a hotel room for 3 nights. The whole ordeal was $2,000. I could just throw my credit card at the problem. I pay it off every month, and it wasn't a huge deal, just a major inconvenience. But to somebody else who couldn't afford it, I can't even imagine what it would be like. Would they have to sleep on the street for those 3 nights? How could they get anything to eat? If they couldn't afford to pay for car repairs, would they be stranded? How would they get back home? The whole experience made me thankful for my relative wealth and really opened my eyes. How lucky I have it. It really put things into perspective for me. As a single woman who earns a very comfortable living, I did not expect how weird heterosexual dating and relationships would get. Men are at first pleasantly surprised when I offer to pick up the tab, pay for tickets to events, etc. And I really don't mind, considering I know I make more than them. But my experience is that it slowly gets uncomfortable for them to know they aren't the breadwinner, and it typically has come out in subtle negging and misogyny. People for some reason always assume that you don't understand what it's like to work hard and struggle, like nobody who has money ever worked for it. In fact, I came from Sicily and from relative poverty, moved out and made something of myself. I live a modest life as well, so I'm even more confused how people think this. I do travel and allow myself some luxuries, but I mind my business and you wouldn't know I was anything but middle class if I didn't tell you. We grew up upper middle class. My family has a whole lot of problems in the form of abuse, mental disabilities and family feud. Abused kids in upper class families are invisible to the authorities. You go to a private school with a uniform, and you own the house without any debts or mortgages. Who cares if your own mother beats you black and blue because she wants a punching bag, or blinded you while trying to beat you up some more? You got a summer house. I'm sure having your head slammed at the wall is minuscule. And look at all these toys that buy out your silence and compliance while she takes a sweet time tearing you down body and mind, piece by piece. Maybe it's not the case always, but it was for me. What do you consider wealthy, Auric? No offense intended, I'm just curious. I grew up well off. I didn't expect dudes with dollar signs in their eyes when they met my family. Fuck 'em. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it sure buy convenience. I live almost the exact same way or even more frugally than I did when I was poor. I have no need to buy designer goods because I have no one to impress. I have no need for a nice car. I spend my money on things like planting my own food for better quality food. Spend more time making my own food so it's healthier. After a year or so of having a bit of money, you tend to find that the things that make the most changes in your life are things like being able to have time for yourself, healthy good food, ability to pursue your passions, having more space in your home. Things that clear and grow your mind and body and worth more than things that grow your pride and ego. Close bracket.